This video is for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised. Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to the channel. I'm Cheryl and this is True Crime and Other Stuff. Thanks for being here, where I like to bring you the facts about true crime, the missing, current events, or anything I find interesting or important. Today, we're going to talk about the Gainesville student murders and the Idaho student murders and how these two cases are very similar. I'm not saying they're exactly alike, but they do have some similarities. So, let's get into it.
It stands as one of 1990's most shocking stories.
18-year-old Sonia Larson was found murdered.
17-year-old Christina Powell.
18-year-old Krista Hoyt.
Early this morning.
3 young women, all students, have been found.
There was mutilation.
Manny Taboto, Tracy Paulus,
brutally murdered at their apartment.
And I say, hello, Satan.
Breaking news out of North Idaho.
Just a moment ago, Moscow police confirmed 4 people were found dead in a home.
4 victims were found dead around noon on Sunday, November 13th, 2022, in a house just off the University of Idaho's campus, after another roommate called police.
The results of autopsies indicated that the 4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds.
This is a small town. People are literally freaking out here. I can't tell you that enough. People don't go out at night. They think the killer is among them here. People have put double locks on their doors.
It has a small town feel. The university plays a major role here. It's the major employer.
It's a really well-regarded research university and really large, beautiful campus.
It's known for its partying. The students come here with the idea that they're going to have lots of fun.
Gainesville is a college town located in north central Florida. It's a beautiful area of the state.
This was the ultimate nightmare for parents who are sending their kids off to college. In a space of 3 days, one after another, students in apartments being killed, totally vulnerable.
Now that the death toll has reached 5, students are talking of returning home.
I'm terrified. I couldn't sleep last night. It's really scary.
What's the worst that could happen? Well, this was the worst that could happen.
Me and the devil.
They have a serial killer.
Serial killer is on the loose.
It must be the Lord, spirit.
I'm John Donvan, and in the early 90s, ABC News sent me to Gainesville, Florida to cover the story of the Gainesville student murders, one of the most horrifying stories that I had ever covered.
Today, people walk and wonder if he walks among them.
Me and the devil.
Supervisor and ID criminalistics and detectives to respond down here to this apartment.
The police officers who went in there would later say that they had never seen a crime scene like this. 2 women who had had a terrible ending to their lives. Downstairs, Christina Powell was lying, having been stabbed to death, having been raped. He had mutilated her breasts.
Sonia Larson, who was on her waterbed, she had multiple stab wounds to her arms and her torso.
The roommate says she opened her door and saw a man in black clothing and a mask. Court documents say that man walked by her and out of a back sliding glass door. The roommate then locked herself in her room.
At this crime scene, we collected 103 pieces of individual evidence. We took approximately 4,000 photographs. We've conducted multiple 3D scans of the residence, and we have hundreds of hours used by technicians and investigators.
Outside
Gainesville
the house,
police discovered the bodies of two 18 to 20-year-old women who sources say are University of Florida students.
Sonia Larson and Christina Powell were stabbed to death and mutilated.
Also showing all 4 victims were killed by what was described as a bigger knife. They had extensive injuries from multiple stab wounds, and that the wounds varied, including different places people were stabbed and the amount of times.
Cause of death is multiple stab wounds to her body. We're not saying how many, what manner, what type of instrument.
The killing was Christy Powell was found, and on the floor was a towel with what looked like detergent on the body.
It appeared that the perpetrator had used this dish soap in an attempt to destroy evidence.
He had taped her hands together, it seems, but had removed the tape and taken it with him.
Because of the removal of the tape, we weren't finding no latent prints.
We think that was in an effort to keep investigators from discovering DNA, blood types, fingerprints.
It kind of indicates that they have some knowledge, background of what law enforcement is going to be looking for when they go into a crime scene.
Crystal Hoyt was found dead, mutilated, beheaded, and the killer had left her head on a shelf so that anybody walking through the door, that's what they would see.
And her body also was posed. She was sitting, her feet on the floor, her torso slumped forward.
We were starting to see the similarities between the two. He was very precise in his methodology. On both scene 1 and scene 2, a large knife had been used.
The entry to the apartment, there was several pry marks around the door.
Again, we saw that the hands had been taped, but the tape had been removed, like he knew that the police were going to be there and he had to take the evidence with them.
So if their hunch is right that both crime scenes are linked, that's very bad news for Gainesville.
It's terrifying. If anything else happens in the next 24 hours, I don't care about classes. I don't care about anything. I'm leaving.
It feels empty, and when I'm there, it feels empty. And I think people are just nervous. Again, this is a town. People keep asking me, well, where's all the surveillance video? I mean, like, look, I live in Miami. You live in New York. You're used to video everywhere. Towns like this, like, they don't have cameras everywhere. They don't have crime like what we're used to.